Have you ever seen a loved one change in small, quiet ways, only to realize later it meant something far more serious? In the final 6 months of life, many older adults show signs that can easily be dismissed as part of normal aging. But these changes are often the body's way of preparing for what's coming, even when no one around them realizes it. And here's the thing, some of these signs are physical, yes, but others are deeply emotional or even spiritual. Some are subtle, others feel like a mystery, and a few might even surprise you. In this video, we're going to walk through 6 signs that older adults often show in the months before passing. These aren't meant to frighten or overwhelm, but to help you understand, prepare, and perhaps find peace in noticing what's already unfolding. If you're supporting a loved one, or if you're walking this journey yourself, this may be one of the most important videos you ever watch. Stay with us until the end, because one of the final signs we'll talk about is something many families miss, and yet it can be one of the clearest messages the body sends. Now let's begin. Sign 1, a sudden return of energy or clarity. One of the most unexpected signs that can appear in the final 6 months is what doctors sometimes call a rally. It's when someone who has been tired, withdrawn, or even unresponsive suddenly seems to brighten. They may talk more, eat better, laugh like they haven't in weeks. And for a moment, hope flickers, not just for the family, but for the person themselves. To someone watching, it may seem like they're improving. And emotionally, it's comforting. But medically, this burst of energy is often short-lived and marks a turning point rather than a recovery. It happens because the body, during its final phase, releases stored energy or experiences. A temporary shift in chemistry. The mind may become clearer. The pain might seem less. And for a brief period, the person feels more like themselves. There was a woman named Helen, 82, who had been sleeping nearly all day for weeks. One afternoon, she asked for her favorite meal, joked with her grandson, and even got out of bed to sit at the kitchen table. Her daughter called everyone, saying she thought Helen was getting better. But 2 days later, Helen's energy faded just as quickly, and her decline returned. It doesn't mean giving up. It doesn't mean you stop caring. But recognizing this moment for what it is, a final window of connection can allow loved ones to be fully present, to say the words they've been holding back, to give or receive forgiveness, to just sit quietly and share space. This return of energy can be a gift, but it's a sign. And when viewed through the lens of compassion, it can help both the person and their family find meaning in the moments that follow. Sign 2, gradual withdrawal from social life. In the final months of life, one of the clearest yet most misunderstood changes is a gradual withdrawal from the world. It's not dramatic. It doesn't happen all at once. But little by little, the person may stop answering phone calls. They might begin turning down visits. Even conversations that used to bring joy can feel like too much. This isn't because they're upset or angry or depressed, though of course those feelings can exist too. More often it's because the body and mind are entering a quieter place, a place where external noise, even the kind that once felt comforting, becomes exhausting. Friends might say, he just doesn't seem interested in talking anymore. Family may notice that someone who used to always be in the center of things now prefers to sit on the side or not come out at all. This isn't rejection. It's part of the body preparing itself to rest, conserve, and reflect inward. There was a man named Walter, 79, who had always been the storyteller at the table, the first to call, the last to leave a gathering. But over time, he began canceling dinners. Then he stopped replying to emails. Eventually, he told his daughter, "I just like the quiet these days." It wasn't sadness, it was peace. And within a few months, his health took a turn. But because his family had seen the signs, they were able to sit with him more quietly, more fully without expecting him to perform or entertain. This withdrawal can be emotional too. The person might seem distant, less engaged in topics that once mattered to them. That's not because they no longer care, but because their energy is being redirected inward, toward memories, closure, or simply the body's slowing rhythms. It's important to understand this isn't something to fix. It's something to recognize, to honor, and to meet with patience. Because in those quiet moments, a different kind of connection becomes possible, one rooted not in words but in presence. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Sign 3, changes in sleep and wake patterns. As the body moves through its final stages, one of the most noticeable shifts is in how a person sleeps. It doesn't always look like rest, though. It might feel more like slipping in and out of awareness, dozing during conversations, sleeping deeply in the middle of the day, or waking up confused about the time of day or even where they are. These changes can begin as early as 6 months before passing, especially in individuals with chronic conditions or progressive illnesses. But they often go unnoticed because, to the outside world, it simply looks like someone is more tired than usual. What's actually happening is more complex. As the body's systems begin to slow, so does the regulation of circadian rhythm, the internal clock that helps us stay alert during the day and sleep at night. In elderly individuals nearing the end of life, this clock becomes disrupted. They may nap for hours but wake up feeling unrested. They may sleep most of the day and then feel oddly alert at 2 a.m. There was a man named Charles, 81, who began falling asleep at the kitchen table after breakfast. Then during conversations with friends, his family thought it was just age catching up, but over time his sleep became deeper and more frequent. When he was awake, he often seemed disoriented. 6 months later, Charles passed quietly at home with his sleep patterns, having been one of the earliest signs. In some cases, these sleep changes come with vivid dreams or hallucinations. People may speak to loved ones who aren't there, or they may mention seeing things, light, music, distant figures. These moments can be disorienting, but they're often not frightening to the person experiencing them. In fact, they can bring a strange kind of calm. Loved ones may worry, wondering if the person is okay or if something is wrong. But understanding that this drifting between wakefulness and sleep is part of the natural process can help families respond with gentleness instead of alarm. When you see these shifts, more sleep, less awareness, more confusion about time, know that it's not laziness or dementia or giving up. It's the body's way of signaling that it's preparing for something deeper. And sometimes just sitting beside them, letting them sleep or holding their hand when they stir, that becomes more meaningful than any words ever could. Sign 4, loss of appetite and changing relationship with food. One of the clearest signals the body gives in its final chapter is a shift in how it relates to food. Meals that once brought comfort or routine begin to lose their appeal. Favorite dishes go untouched. Snacks that used to disappear from the pantry now sit uneaten. You might notice smaller portions, skipped meals, or a quiet refusal of foods they used to ask for. This isn't just a change in taste, it's a biological signal. As the body prepares for the end of life, its need for energy dramatically decreases. Organs begin slowing. Digestion takes more effort than it's worth. The desire to chew, swallow, or even smell food can fade without warning. And yet, for caregivers or loved ones, this can be one of the hardest changes to witness. There's a deep instinct in us, especially as family, to feed those we care about. We want them to be nourished, to gain strength, to feel cared for. And when they stop eating, it can feel personal. But it's not. It's natural. And for the person going through it, there's often no hunger at all, just a quiet indifference to what's on the plate. Edna, 85, had always been someone who loved cooking. Her lemon pound cake was a family tradition, but in her final months, even the smell of it made her nauseous. She began sipping only water and asking for ice chips. Her daughter tried to coax her with favorite soups and soft meals. But eventually, Edna looked up and said gently, "I'm just not hungry anymore." She wasn't giving up. Her body was just telling her it was time to rest. Sometimes the change is sudden. Other times it happens slowly, smaller bites, longer meals, or skipping dinner without comment. You may even hear them say that everything tastes different, or that nothing tastes at all. That's not imagination. It's physiology. It's important in this stage to shift the focus from calories to comfort. A spoonful of pudding, a bit of favorite fruit, or just a sip of something warm can become meaningful. Less for nutrition and more for the ritual of sharing a moment. What matters isn't getting them to finish the plate. It's showing that you're there, that you understand, and that even without words, their needs are being heard. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Sign 5, coolness or color changes in the extremities. One of the more visible, yet often misunderstood changes that can appear in the last 6 months of life is the shift in temperature and color in the hands, feet, or legs. You may notice the person's toes begin to look pale or bluish. Their fingers might feel unusually cold, even when the room is warm. These aren't random symptoms. They're signs of the body redirecting its energy inward. As circulation slows, blood moves away from the limbs to focus on vital organs. The result is that extremities, places farthest from the heart, begin to cool down and change in appearance. It can be subtle at first. You might notice socks staying on all day, or blankets being clutched tighter, even in mild weather. Over time, the skin may take on a dusky or mottled tone, especially in the feet and ankles. This can be hard to witness, especially for those who associate touch with connection. You hold a loved one's hand and feel how cold it is. You warm it with yours instinctively. And while the gesture matters deeply, the underlying cause isn't something that can be reversed. For many families, this sign comes as a surprise. They might think it's a circulation issue or something that needs a new medication. But often, it's a sign the body's conserving, that it's shifting its resources to where they're needed most. The person may not even notice it. They may feel calm or sleepy, unaware of the change. That's because this phase is rarely painful, just part of the body's quiet retreat. There was a man named Harold, 78, who used to enjoy sitting on his porch with his hands wrapped around a warm mug. In the last few months, he stopped joining those morning rituals. When his daughter asked why, he simply said, "My hands get cold too quickly now." She didn't think much of it until hospice explained it was one of the body's early signs of decline. It wasn't the temperature outside. It was the temperature within. Recognizing this sign can help loved ones shift focus from fixing to comforting. It's not about warming the feet with extra heaters. It's about soft socks, gentle blankets, and a presence that says, "I see you and I'm here." In many cases, these changes begin long before other signs become obvious. And when they're understood, not feared, they offer an opportunity to respond with tenderness, to create a space where silence and stillness are honored, not filled. Sign 6, sudden emotional peace or spiritual clarity. Perhaps one of the most unexpected and deeply moving shifts that can happen in the final months is a sudden sense of emotional calm. Even in people who've lived with restlessness, fear, or regret for years, it might appear out of nowhere. A person who used to worry about every detail begins letting go. Someone who held on to resentment softens their voice, opens up about old memories, or reaches out to reconnect with someone from their past. This isn't always explained by religion. It doesn't require belief or ritual. It's something quieter, a sense that something inside has settled, that the person knows somehow what's coming and is okay with it. You may hear them speak in a way that sounds poetic. They might say things like, "I'm ready to go," or "I'll see you again soon." They may talk about people who've already passed as if they're nearby. They may even mention seeing light or feeling watched over without fear, and often with a sense of comfort that's hard to put into words. These aren't hallucinations in the clinical sense. They're experiences that have been documented across cultures, languages, and faiths. Nurses and hospice workers call it nearing death awareness. And for many, it's a moment of profound grace. Take a woman named Lorraine, 84, who had lived with anxiety for decades. She was meticulous, always needing everything just so. But one afternoon after a nap, she looked at her daughter and said, "It's okay to let things be. Everything's fine now." That same evening, she asked to listen to her favorite music and simply closed her eyes, smiling. She passed a few weeks later, but her daughter never forgot how peaceful she seemed that day. It's important to know this emotional clarity isn't always constant. It may come and go, but when it arrives, it brings with it a deep opportunity for connection, one rooted in honesty, presence, and love. For caregivers and family members, these moments can feel like open windows, a chance to listen more, push less, and simply walk beside someone as they find their own way forward. There may be tears, sure, but there is often also relief, because in that quiet surrender, something sacred enters the room. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 6 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Final thoughts. As we close this video, take a moment to think about what you've just heard. These 6 signs aren't just symptoms, they're signals. They're the body's quiet, dignified way of preparing for transition. And while some of them might feel surprising or even unsettling, they each carry meaning. They invite us to pay closer attention, to listen, to honor the moments as they come. Maybe you recognize one of these signs in someone you love. Or perhaps you've seen it in yourself and you're wondering what it means. Whatever brought you here today, know this: noticing these signs is not about predicting a date or time. It's about understanding. It's about walking with awareness so that fear doesn't take the lead. You are not alone. Every person watching this video is part of a quiet, compassionate group who cares deeply about aging with dignity and being present when it matters most. And sometimes, knowing what to look for can transform not just how we say goodbye, but how we stay connected while we still can. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.